Hey you guys, I'm back with yet another episode of the book review series. For those who don't know me, I'm Asavari and welcome to my YouTube channel. Make sure to stick around. Okay, so the book that I have for you today is a book that I would not generally pick up, not because of its genre per se, but because of the hype that is going on around this book. Okay, and whenever a book gets like really famous, I start having doubts about it. Uh, and this is coming from experience. You see all these book talk videos about like this book is great, this book is amazing, and that book turns out to be like really mid. So that was the main reason why I did not want to pick this up. The second reason obviously being the genre romance, which I generally don't go for. I don't really enjoy it. But then why did I pick this up, right? Sometimes your siblings pressure you into reading stuff that they like and you don't. So this is another classic case of this. My sister actually pressured me into reading this book. She actually recommended it, and that's why I ended up reading it. So let's get into it. Now this book is Too Good to Be True by Prajakta Kohli. Now, if you're someone who is living under a rock, let me tell you about the author. Prajakta Kohli started off as a YouTuber and she was really consistent at it. She made her own brand, Mostly Sane, from ground up, and I really respect her for it. And today she is a very famous influencer, also a content creator, a movie star, a philanthropist, and now a writer. So, a little something about Prajakta Kohli. Prajakta Kohli portrays herself as this carefree, young, cool personality who is like a proper Marathi mulgi in Mumbai. Her content is very honest and very funny, and that's why people find it relatable and endearing to watch her life, because they don't see Prajakta as this perfect looking, or having her life sorted out kind of a girl. They always see Prajakta as this local girl who might just be your neighbor. Okay, so why did I tell you so much about Prajakta Kohli's personality and not the book? Let me introduce you to the main character of this book, who is Avni. Full name Avni Joshi, a Marathi mulgi living in Mumbai. Starting to sound familiar? Exactly. So the point that I'm getting at is that it's like Prajakta has infused her own personality into her book, which is expected of new authors, I think, because if I were to write a book, maybe I would curate it around the experiences I've had in my life, and maybe some of my characters would have my personality traits. So it's kind of like an expected thing from Prajakta. Now, who is Avni Joshi? Now, Avni is a 23-year-old law student who works part time at a bookstore. Now, the job at the bookstore is like her dream job. Why, you ask? Because her main personality trait is that she's a book lover. An avid reader, she's a fan of romance novels. Hey, that also sounds familiar. But anyway, so that's our main character. The second main character, who is obviously the guy, Aman, who is a 30-year-old billionaire. Really, really believable. First off, I don't, I mean, that's just me, but I don't really like huge age gaps between two characters. And 23-year-old, just not even a graduate, and a 30-year-old billionaire, CEO of a company who has a lot of money, big houses, owns restaurants and whatnot. But yeah, that I'll just leave it there. Okay, so this book is obviously about their love story, and it is written in a very weird sort of way. I mean, it's kind of, the format is kind of like a diary, but instead of the diary, Avni is actually talking to us, and Aman is also talking to us. So it's not real enough. You know what I mean? Like, talking to the audience is was kind of like a bad decision because it only shows like the shallow part of your thoughts, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm really struggling to make this video because I don't know where to get started, what all to tell you about this book, because there are so many things that I feel the need to highlight. um, for example, okay, so the first chapter, Avni meets someone, and the first thing that she's drawn to is his aftershave smell. Now I get it, aftershave smell is like really fresh and nice and you would be maybe attracted to it, but maybe like for the first meeting or the second meeting, the whole book is about aftershave smell. That's it. She's obsessed with his aftershave smell. And in Avni's mind throughout this whole book, I don't recall reading any real feelings about Aman. It is always about Aman's body, his abs, his other things, and stuff like that. There is nothing real. Like, why is it even called a love story if there is no love? It's just plain infatuation at this point. Throughout this book, we get a lot of insight into Avni's life. So she has a couple of friends who regularly meet at the bookstore. One is Ria, whose family basically owns the bookstore. The second is Martin, who works at the bookstore. A bookstore cafe type thing, who makes coffee and croissants, which are like really delicious. And the third one is Maya, who is by far the most believable character in this book. She is pretty sorted and I like her for it. But Martin, the character, or like any all these three guys, Avni, Martin, and Ria, the way they talk, it's so cringe. I mean, listen, I am also a Gen Z. I have Gen Z friends, and we don't talk like that. There is no group of friends in the world who talks like this. It's so cringy. My face while reading their conversations was literally like this. Wait, let me show you. This is the book. I'm reading the conversations, and it's like this. I was literally making this face the entire time reading this book. Okay, so that's about our friends, and that really shows how bad the writing style is. I mean, Wattpad fanfics are better than this. Coming to Aman. Now, see, Aman is obviously like a 30-year-old billionaire who has a rich family back in Missouri. They have like a villa there and stuff. And he's like a, pretty rich kid. But that's all about Aman. That's all we get to know about Aman. Aman is obviously 30-year-old, so he's at the marriageable age. And when he lays his eyes on Avni, he's like, I want to marry this girl. Which is a bit unsettling since she's so young. But yeah, that's that. So he is all in whatever they have. And Avni is like, no, that's too fast. But yet, the girl keeps flirting. The girl keeps dreaming. And she is not ready to commit. She is not ready to commit to Aman. Why? Okay, here comes the best part. Why? Why is she not ready to commit to Aman? Why is she not ready to be his girlfriend? Because Aman is perfect. Aman has no flaws. And that's why Avni cannot be his girlfriend. Okay, and let me tell you one point, So they are in this sort of situationship, and he is visiting their bookstore almost on a daily basis, and flirting with Avni. She's flirting back, and they meet at her house where nobody else stays, and they spend some time together, and they are in this nice little cute bubble. They're enjoying their relationship and all of that shit. And then Avni's results come in. Her law results come in, and guess what? She fails 3 out of 4 or 3 out of 5 subjects. Apparently, she was a topper in school, and now she's failing 3 out of 5 of her subjects. After meeting so-called Mr. Perfect, Aman. First things first, a relationship is not meant to spoil you. A relationship is not meant to distract you. If being in a relationship or being in a situationship or liking somebody makes you lose focus of your life, then that person or that relationship is not good for you. And that's baseline. Okay? A relationship is supposed to nurture you, to make you better at stuff, to encourage you to do better. But clearly, Avni doesn't agree to this. Yeah, she's okay with failing as long as she gets to dream about Aman, as long as Aman is in her life, which I think is really toxic, I mean, be real, girl, be real. That's another thing. Okay, so I know that I've been yapping in sort of like a hodgepodge of things, but let me tell you in a flow, okay? So Avni meets Aman in a bookstore, and she's infatuated with his aftershave smell, okay? Then they flirt, they talk, they go out for dinner, they go out on dates, and something happens. Now, Aman is all in the relationship. He wants to marry her, but she is not ready because he is perfect and she doesn't want to commit to him. Okay, fair enough. Now that there is some tension between these two because she would not commit, but then eventually she does commit. Okay, she does commit, and Aman is like, okay, let's go meet my parents in Mussoorie. And she's like, okay, let's go. So they go to Mussoorie and meet Aman's parents. And Aman's parents are like super chill and they welcome Avni and they let them sleep in the same room and whatever happens. Okay. Now then, Aman's brother Gagan, who is one of the most sensible characters in this book, confronts Aman about Avni. He asks her, okay, you clearly like this girl. What do you like about her? Or how is her life? Do you know her favorite color? Do you know the names of her parents? Basic stuff. He asks Aman that. And Aman is at a loss for words because he doesn't know any of this shit. Why would he know? Why would he know? He never cared to ask. They are in a relationship. He never cared to ask her favorite color. He never cared to ask her about her parents. He never cared to ask about how she is feeling in general, and all this complex things that are necessary to form a robust relationship. He never cared to ask any of these questions. And now that Gagan pointed out, he is at a loss of words and he starts getting defensive. Like, hey, Avni never told me all this. Wait, is there something wrong with our relationship? There clearly is. He starts to wonder. And they get in a huge fight because Aman doesn't know anything about Avni. So, the ending. So, Aman and Avni get into a huge fight in Mussoorie. And Avni is like, I need to go home. I can't stay with you, I need to go home. And she leaves. Okay? She leaves. And Aman, being Aman, he doesn't even follow her. He feels like she needs a space, so he doesn't follow her. And Avni moves on with her life. For 3 months, there is no contact between Aman and Avni. And finally, the day comes when Avni is graduating, right? And all her friends and relatives are there with her Ajji, not her relatives, sorry. The only relative she has is her Ajji. So Avni's friends and Ajji, they are there at the graduation. And guess what? Aman shows up. After 3 months, he shows up. And Avni is a little mad, obviously. But then she asks Aman, why did you not contact me? Why did you do this to me? Where were you these 3 months? And Aman was like, what? I thought I wrote you so many emails. But you didn't reply. And Avni is like, what emails? Mind you, these two people have each other's social media and their number, but yet Aman chose to write an email, like several emails. So he shows Avni, see this is the emails I sent you. And the email address is obviously a fake one that Avni gave earlier to Aman. So that is how this book ends. I'm sorry for giving you so many spoilers, but I seriously hope that you don't read this book. After saying so much about this book, it is my kind of responsibility to tell you a better book, or rather so many better books than this. The one book that I really like, which is a cute romance book, is better than the movies. Read that. Really read that. Don't go anywhere near this book. If I had to rate this book, it would be like a 1 star out of 5. I really feel that Parajita Kohli could have done better with the resources she has, and she has just not. Like, I don't know what this book is. It's just trying too hard to fit in, and it has just these typical references and this fake conversations and fake characters, and everything is so artificial. It just does not feel good. It does not feel genuine, which was the baseline of Prajakta's personality, and I feel really sad about it. So yeah, that's that.